What we will do is we will go for a quick revision of thinkers. Okay, I'll try to explain maybe 2 thinkers today and then 2 tomorrow through the questions, and I'll take up I think in this we have around 150 pages and another close to 100 more pages are going to come. So all the possible questions which can be asked from thinkers I have incorporated. So let's see each one of that. Okay, so these minor questions I will not be discussing. What is authority? What is bureaucracy? Right, what is authority? You know that it is a legitimate power, and then there are 3 types of authority: traditional authority, charismatic authority, rational legal authority. So bureaucracy is a typical example of rational legal authority, right? And then there can be combination also, like traditional authority and then charismatic authority and rational legal authority combination may be there. For example, if you see Jawaharlal Nehru, right, there is a charisma, personal qualities are there. At the same time, it's a part of rational legal authority as well. So these are examples. Like everything I have given here, there is no point in discussing this. So here in this session, we will not be discussing each and every topic. We'll just go through that. Okay. So this is a very simple question. So rather than discussing these 3, you also need to talk about the combination, and then you need to connect it with theory of action as well. For example, this is related to traditional social action, right? It is coming out of certain beliefs, right? And then when it comes to rational authority, it is related to rational action, completely rational action, or Zweck rational action. Bureaucracy is a typical example of that. These concepts, routinization of charisma, okay? Then bureaucracy, the elements of bureaucracy. Elements of bureaucracy means regularly seen elements of bureaucracy, the functions of bureaucracy. When I say regularly seen elements, what does that mean in Weber's term? Regularly seen elements of bureaucracy, or simply elements of bureaucracy. What does that mean? Ideal type, right? So you will be writing it as, you will not be writing it as regularly seen elements, or you will not be writing it as elements of bureaucracy. You will be writing it as ideal types of bureaucracy, right? Iron cage of rationality, that is again Weber, when he is discussing about bureaucracy, is afraid of this, because over a period of time, what will happen is the bureaucrats will be, will not have any emotions or anything when they are sticking to the rule book. So guys, these are very simple topics. Charismatic authority, again from authority, they can take a specific one and they can ask you. Traditional authority, they can ask you separately. Rational legal authority, they can ask you. Charismatic authority, they can ask you. Combination, they can ask you. So this is a question which has been asked from that particular topic. So you also need to write about others in brief when it comes to this question. Okay, so first what you need to do, you need to talk about what is power, then what is authority, legitimate use of power, that is what authority. Then talk about Weber gave 3 different types of authority, or 3 ideal types of authority, out of which you will be talking about charismatic authority in detail, that is personal quality. Then routinization of charisma and everything. Transformation of charismatic authority into other types. Again, see here directly the question is asked, ideal type or feature. In fact, ideal type features of bureaucracy is not required, right? When I say ideal type, it means features only. When I say regularities, it means features only. When I say elements, then again it is ideal types and regularities, elements, characteristics, almost all these are one and the same. So what was Weber's assessment of the increasing bureaucratization of modern societies? When Weber is talking about religion, then it is up to the researcher what he need to study, right? Guys, these are very, what you need to do is, whatever I have underlined here, there is a defined area of responsibility for bureaucrats, and you will be working on that. There will be a hierarchy. Based on that only you will follow the order and you will give the order. Why it is there? It is to enhance the efficiency. There will be a system of rules, abstract rules will be there. Only on the basis of rules you will be functioning. Okay. And impersonality, that means without fear or favor, without any prejudices, you will have to do your job. And technical knowledge and expertise, right? Full-time paid employment. Once you're enter into service, then it's a full-time paid employment. Nobody can do anything until and unless some rules are there, right? It is all based on the rules. Separation of private and private and official income, right? All these are common points. I don't think there is any difficulty in this, but just remember these are the points which has to come. And seniority, that is the main ground for promotion. Seniority as well as expertise. Criticism, the Stuart Clegg and Larry Ray, Michael Reed, criticisms have been given. Go through that. Okay, so guys, please turn off your video, all of you. Okay, now this is a theory of religion of Durkheim. Okay, so in this theory, what are the questions which can be asked? Direct question, theory of religion by Durkheim. Elementary forms of religious life by Durkheim, right? Or he can also ask you religion as a social fact. They can ask you sacred and profane. They can ask you how religion is functional in society. Okay, all these are different dimensions in which they can ask you the question. So let me tell you the theory first. He will always give a definition, and then there will be a causal explanation. There will be a functional explanation. That is how he will explain every theory. So what you need to do is you have to focus on the definition. Religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things, right? This definition, that is to say things set apart and forbidden. Beliefs and practices unite them into a single moral community called a church, all those who adhere to them. So if you see here, this first part, this is the composition of religion. What does that mean? Like, it's a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. Second part, that is what you mean by the function of religion. What they do, integrate or unite them into one single moral community. Then you need to explain this, the compositional aspect. You need to tell what you mean by belief and practices. Beliefs are the myths, right, that you carry in your mind based on God or supernatural force or the sacred thing. Practices are the rites and ritual that you perform when you interact with the God. So explain that, and then explain sacred, explain profane. Profane is everything other than sacred, right? So then go for causal explanation. So guys, the causal explanation, I'll just go with this diagram only, no time for. So this is another question which can be asked from here, indirect experiment. He's going for an indirect experiment rather than studying a modern religion. He's studying a very primitive religion, and he's trying to establish the cause of that religion with the assumption that same will be the cause for any modern religion when it came into existence. So this approach is indirect experiment. So this is another 10 marker. I think I have not given this question in this particular PDF. I'll give it to you next day. So this is another 10 marker which can be asked. If it is asked, you have to explain what is indirect experiment, and then you have to demonstrate it with this particular theory. That is what you need to do. Okay. So here he is studying the totemic religion of Arunta tribes. So this diagram itself will give you everything, right? Primitive people were wanderers. They occasionally come together. When they are together, they sing together, dance together. That's a state of exaltation. Collective effervescence, that's the word Durkheim used. You have to use exactly the same word. You cannot afford to simply write happiness or anything. Use these two words, that's for sure, okay? Then that feeling is gone when they're separate. They want to re-experience the feeling. So they explain this happiness that they've experienced is due to some supernatural force which was present there. And to signify that, they create a totem and they start worshipping the totem. Again and again, people will come there. That is the cause of religion. So what Durkheim says, you are worshipping not the God, not the totem. Ultimately, you're worshipping the society or the togetherness. You love the togetherness. So you want to have that state of exaltation again. See here, feeling disappears when they are separate. They have created this totem to experience, need to re-experience that feeling. So the church, the masjid, the temple, the totem and everything. If that is the reason for the totem, same as the reason for this masjid and the temple and the church also. People coming together again in all these religious places, you are experiencing the same feeling. Okay, so that is a causal explanation. Functional explanation, that is there in the second part of the definition itself, unite them into a single moral community called a church. Church means religion only. Okay. Here we are talking about a functional approach, Durkheim's approach. We don't want to talk about fight or anything. Here they are only talking about one perspective, right? We will be talking from the perspective of Durkheim. When you go for a critical analysis, talk about Merton. Instead of integration, multiplicity of religion create conflict. Merton, I've given that here. Marx, religion act as opium of masses. These things you can write in criticism. Here, when they are asking you, listen, understand, when they are asking any theory, what you need to write, you don't want to write anything from your side. Okay, whatever theory that you have learned, whatever theory which has been given by the thinker, you have to reproduce the same. This is what he have been told. He defined religion like this. Can you define it in any other way if this is a question which is asked? No. He have given this course. You have to write this course. He have given this function. You have to write this function. You can't do anything. If they're asking you critically analyze, then go for whatever you want. But even then, I won't suggest you to write from your side. You talk about Merton, you talk about Marx, and these two are actually enough. There are many other thinkers also which you can write. But Merton, multiplicity of religion create conflict. This Durkheim's assumptions is not necessarily true. Obviously, you have to draw this diagram. If you get an opportunity, this has to be there in your paper because, guys, you get 2.5 pages, 3 pages, right? If you try to write fully in that 2 or 3 pages, that is going to consume a time and it will go beyond 250 words. And it is always good to fill the pages. So what you can do, draw the diagram. That's why this will not take time, right? It is just like writing 3 sentences. That much is what you will take. It's very simple. Just practice it, block diagram. And also you explain the same in paragraph so that you will save time and space. You will be able to write and show a lot, even though with limited content. Functional explanation is only talking about integrative role. Guys, these are the criticisms. Go for the criticisms. What we need, they will ask you critically analyze question. You need 2 or 3 criticism. Okay, specific to religion. What did I told you? I have all these criticism. Edmund Leach is there. Okay, all these criticisms are there, but I just need Marx and Merton. That too is enough for me. Apart from that, you can also write some general criticisms of Durkheim. Always keep these points in mind. General, what are they? Micro, ignorance of micro. That is a general, problem with Durkheim's approach, right? Only giving importance to society, macro approach, social fact, but ignoring the human emotions, meanings attached by the actor to the actions and everything, right? So the internal aspect is ignored. Which thinker you will be using there? You will be using Weber. Okay, so for example, Weber, consider this is the most important aspect. You write that. Without that, it's a partial understanding. Then you can use Durkheim, always try to see functions. You can use which thinker to criticize this. Either you can use Marx or you can use Merton. That is what I've told you already. Merton also introduced dysfunction in functionalism, guys. Okay, dysfunction in functional approach. That's why neo-functional approach. There are a lot of modifications has been done by Merton. I'm expecting you guys know all these. Teleology, no, Sujit, it is not there in Durkheim's approach. In fact, Durkheim, what is teleology? Illegitimate teleology, inability to separate cause and function. That's when teleology. But here, is he separating cause and function? Yes, he's separating cause and function. Okay, even if you see the theory of division of labor, the cause is struggle for existence. Function is integration, right? So he's separating causal functional analysis. Teleology is a criticism which you can write in all thinkers, in all functional thinkers. Parson you can write, even Merton also you can write, Davies and Moore, any functional thinkers you take, teleology is a criticism, but not here. Yeah, indirect experiment credibility. Obviously, that is specific, very specific criticism, Priyanka, that should be there in your answer. Guys, these are what you need to, when you're reading, you will come to know. Similarly, if you see the theory of suicide, directly you will come to know there are some criticisms which you can write, the data he collected from police records, the authenticity of that, the credibility of that, right? In fact, in all Durkheim studies, whatever you take, there is a question of credibility of the data that he collected. Even though he claimed that he is a positivist, an inductive approach, an objective approach he followed, but all his approach and theory look like, keep this point in mind, guys, all his theory look like what? The conclusion has been already there in his mind even before he take up the analysis. That's why he took this tribe. That's why he took that data. Okay, so functional bias, all these are common. So this point you can write anywhere in all the theories. All theory common. It looks like that the conclusion was already there in his mind even before he take up the data. So despite his claim for being an inductivist and positivist, his theories look like a deductive theories. Why deductive theories? I hope you got my point, right? It is already there in his mind. That's what we can feel. He wanted to tell that suicide is because of these problems. This religion, this is the reason for religion. He wanted to tell that. That's why he have taken this. So it looks like a deductive approach. This is a very important point which you can write in all his approach. Despite it looks, he argues for inductivism and positivism and all, but his theories look like a deductive approach, or it looks like the conclusion is already there in his mind even before he take up the analysis. Okay, yeah, assumptions are already there. So it's not necessarily completely objective. Suicide has been criticized like anything. You use statistical techniques, but that's not accurate and correct, right? The way he used and everything. Okay, guys, again, this question can, so what are the short notes which you can expect from theory of religion? Sacred and profane, indirect experiment. These are the two main questions which you can expect, right? So sacred and profane, what you need to do is first tell, Durkheim gave this concept in his theory of religion, which is there in this particular book, Elementary Forms of Religious Life. Then define religion. Durkheim defined religion as a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So you have introduced this word sacred in your answer. This is how you need to do. Okay, and then put a comma, complete the definition, not the second part. That is to say, things set apart and considered forbidden. So you have explained what is sacred in that definition itself. Now take it separately. Tell what is belief, tell what is practices, what are the negative rights and positive rights, worshipping, all these examples you write. Okay, and then tell what is profane, give example for that. Everything is given here. Criticism is also given. Okay, I have highlighted because this has to be there in your answer. Whatever I have highlighted, that need to be there. Sometimes I've highlighted criticism because the other part anyway, I don't think that any one of you will not be able to write sacred and profane, right? Religion versus science, that we can discuss actually in the chapter on religion separately. Otherwise, even Durkheim consider, if you need to know from Durkheim's perspective, Durkheim considers science as a modern religion. Why? Can anyone tell me? Why science is a modern religion for Durkheim? Because you see the definition of religion for Durkheim, religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices. Correct? Science is also based on system of some beliefs and practices. You take physics, it all based on some beliefs and some practices, right? Newton's law, or that law, this law, chemistry, biology, all these are related to some beliefs and practices. And even the science also related to beliefs and practices, and those who follow the same beliefs and practices will be together. All these physicists and chemists, right? All these are together. Mathematicians, they are together. There is a group, like a Christians, like Muslims, like Hindus. Those who follow that particular branch of knowledge, we are following sociology, right? We are together and creating a new collectivity. Collectivity in Durkheim's terms of society, a community. But religion and science more, this is just from Durkheim's side. You need to add more. That will come in chapter on religion separately. No, that is not weird question. That's a straightforward question that we will see in religion chapter. That's a direct expected question. I think that's there in the syllabus directly also. Not weird, no, that's guys, relevance of Durkheim's theory of religion. Just need to read that, okay? You can talk about these festivals, celebration of these festivals, and all these are done not to appease the God, not to please the God, not because of love towards God. Why you're celebrating all these festivals? You are even celebrating through internet these days, right? Why? It is because of that collectivity. It is because of that togetherness. It is for that state of exaltation. If there is a festival, you come together, you start drinking, you celebrating, and all these things you do, right? Why? Is it for God you're drinking? No, right? So that state of exaltation, exactly, collective effervescence, right? Okay. Now, actually, this is a mix of different chapters, so I will not be able to go in that particular order. And I think that will be good also. We can take up from different thinkers. We can discuss one, then move to other, then come back to the same. Maybe division of labor will come back later. Suicide will come later. So that may be a good approach. But I will also give you a compilation of all the notes in the same pattern. Okay, Marx theory of class and class struggle. There's a note. So I'll briefly tell you what is the theory. Then we will take up the questions. Guys, what are the questions which can be asked here? They can ask you class in itself, class for itself. You know that one is based on objective criteria, subjective criteria, and all those things. They can ask you class polarization. Okay, and they can also ask you theory of stratification by Marxian theory of stratification. What is that? It is nothing but theory of class and class struggle, right? Because here only he's talking about different class. Marxian theory of stratification, which is based on classes, this itself. Upper class, lower class, antagonist cooperation, haves and have-nots, bourgeois proletariat, all those. And then class struggle, reasons for struggle, mechanism of struggle, all those need to be written very specifically. Class struggle is the reason for social change, right? Class struggle is essential for social change. Okay, so you need to see what do you mean by class. Position in the production process in simple terms. But everything, whatever I have underlined, I'm expecting you will go through. That's the objective criteria. Subjective criteria, when you develop some consciousness, that becomes class for itself, right? So there are two types of classes, haves and have-nots in all modes of production: ancient, master-slave, feudal, lords and serfs, capitalist, workers and capitalist. Then in socialism, only worker. Communism, no class. Stateless, classless society, pure egalitarian society, which is a utopian concept. Class polarization means this one, right? Either the middle classes will become top or they come back to the bottom, either through the process of proletarianization or bourgeoisization. The entire process is what class polarization. So what Marx says is there may be intermediate classes, but over a period of time, yes, I'll come back. I'll come to that. That we have discussed in the previous session, Jai Hind. That entire process, right? There may be intermediate classes, petty bourgeois, lumpen proletariat, etc. But eventually it will culminate into any of these two. That's what polarization. What is a criticism? Standard criticism, you can use Weber. Different classes, middle class has widened. Same as what Darendorf also saying. I've added both. You can use as per your convenience. Why I'm saying Weber is because I'm expecting you will not forget that. Even Darendorf also, when it comes to Marx, I don't think you will forget. Either you can use Darendorf, or you can use Weber, or you can use both. It's up to you. Pierre Bourdieu and all those you can use. Okay. Marxian and Weberian theory. What is that stratification? They can ask you, but that I've discussed in the chapter 5 already. Marx is talking about only class stratification, right? Weber is talking about class, status, party, multi-dimensional pattern of stratification. Secondly, Marx is talking about polarization. Weber says that is not going to come into existence. But the main point is the first one, three-dimensional pattern of stratification, class, that I have told you, right? That diagram which we have discussed. Okay, about class, Weber says it will be like diamond structure. Middle class will get widened or hexagonal. It's up to you. It is what we need to write. Okay, then true consciousness, false consciousness, class struggle. Guys, read this. Everything is there in detail. We cannot explain this here. It's not a training session, obviously. I've told you many times. But reasons for class struggle, what are the main reason? Alienation is one of the most important reason. Antagonist cooperation, always there is a possibility of struggle. One want something, the other want the opposite thing, right? Workers want to work for more wages, but the capitalists want to pay less wage. Worker want to work for less time, capitalists want worker to work more time. Worker need better working condition, but capitalists don't want to give such kind of working condition, because all these will increases cost of production, then it will compromise the profitability and productivity and all those things. These are the reasons. And then FOP will change, ROP will change automatically. So the new relations will come into conflict with the existing relations. All these are reasons for class struggle. I have written everything, right? These are the 3 reasons. Just read that. Mechanism. First, if you see masters and slaves, there is a new class which is coming, which are related to settled agriculture. They aid the process, they support the process, they support the slaves to go for a revolt against masters. And the slaves, even though they go for revolt and everything, they eventually satisfy the interest of this emerging class, right, who are related to settled agriculture. That's why Marx says this is based on false consciousness. Same as what actually happening here also. Here emerging classes related to factory system serve revolt, but ultimately they become workers and they satisfy the interest of these emerging class which are related to the pioneers of industrialism, right? They are the capitalists. So this is also based on false consciousness. But this one, in the capitalist mode of production, when there is no alternative, when there is proper ideology, proper leadership, proper organization, true consciousness will emerge. Okay, that is based on true consciousness, because they are able to change their situation. Criticisms, just take 1 or 2, that's enough. Okay, you can either use Weber, Dahrendorf, even Frank Parkin. Weber, Dahrendorf, that's enough. Don't write too much. Because it now, like what I've told you in case of Durkheim, any Marxian question also, you have some general criticisms. What are they? You can always say, beat any question, always say Marx is a reductionist. He's reducing everything in terms of economic infrastructure. You can simply say he's ignoring the superstructure. Nowadays, the superstructure can also drastically create changes. Okay, culture, right? Especially societies like India, culture play a very dominant role. Religion play a dominant role. Economic determinist, yeah, that's what I've told. Almost reductionist and economic determinist, almost same. Economic reasons mainly. And then you can also say he's always going with conflict approach, right? That is also a criticism. And then which thinker you will use here? For example, use Durkheim. You can use Parson, you can use Webb, you can use Merton. Okay, but still it is better to go with Durkheim, contemporary, right? So yeah, exactly. Use the opposite. When you're talking about Marx, it is always better to use Durkheim and Weber, right? There is a very famous saying that Weber is writing in the presence of ghost of Marx. Exactly opposite is what Weber is writing. So always use Weber and Durkheim to criticize Marx. How will you use Durkheim? Use this conflict and functional approach. Marx, everything dysfunction, religion dysfunctional, family dysfunctional. On the other hand, for example, Emile Durkheim considered these as functional. Marx giving importance to macro approach. On the other hand, for example, you use Weber. Okay, simple. Guys, explain the transition from class in itself, class for itself, according to Karl Marx. Read this, some more better understanding you will get, because that is very specific and a lot of content is added. You will be able to enrich your knowledge with that. Okay, so take relevant. Some of these I'm not able to underline because I just made it today. I was busy for the last 3 days. I was traveling, so I'll update it whenever I update it in the application. I think I'll try my maximum to underline. Some of the questions I've just left it because the explanation is anyway given before. That's why that everything is underlined. Here, go through that. Okay. significance in explaining contemporary reality. It's up to you whether you want to take printout or it's up to you. If you take printout, it is going to be good. You don't want to refer anything else. Just stick to this. Whatever I have given to you. If you see chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, now it's done. Nothing more you need. You don't want to refer. I've told you to refer to Vajiram class notes. Now no need. Harlambos I've told you. No need. Even our material that you used to follow. No need. Vision IAS test series, no need. I've taken those questions and solution also. Everything, Upendra, I've added. No need of anything. That's what I'm telling again and again. When you guys, again, this thinkers, this much itself is going to be very difficult for you to remember. Trust me, this is not possible for you to remember all these things. So take printout. That's the best thing. And just keep it with you. Just underline, repeat the same thing. Okay. Yeah. So evaluate the theory in terms of significance, which I have anyway given before also. Like to understand inequality in the present society, you can use this theory of class and class struggle, right? Till the time exploitation of haves, man by man is there, his theory is relevant. Even this theory is used by, the future theorist like Immanuel Wallerstein, Andre Gunder Frank, etc., to explain the difference between developed and developing countries. Like Marx talked about haves and have-nots between people, right? Person to person, capitalist worker, right? But no, you will be getting everything, Jai Hind. You don't want to take that 849 things. Here, everything is included. Okay, that I'll be giving that also here. No need of anything else. So, guys, this haves and have-nots, which Marx explained, these thinkers, Immanuel Wallerstein and all, they have explained in terms of countries. There are some countries who are haves, there are some countries who are have-nots, right? The underdeveloped countries and developed countries. You are explaining them by using this theory. So this is going to be, useful in different ways. And if you remember in the thinkers class, I have told you that how you write relevance. You have to tell how this particular theory is used by the future theorist, right? That is the most important point. To what extent it is relevant today, to what extent it is not relevant today, that you need to write. How can you use this theory to explain the present social problems, situations, right? You can do that. Thinker, these are what I'm telling, right? Gramsci, this is criticism. Dahrendorf, Weber, diversification of class. We have discussed this, right? Middle class is getting stronger, different class, rather than polarization. No polarization. This is what I've told you guys. Andre Gunder Frank. So, okay. Now, when it comes to Emile Durkheim, the key points beyond that theory, what we have discussed, social facts. That's the scope of sociology. What is the scope of sociology? Study social facts. What do you mean by social fact? In simple terms, everything is social facts, right? Social facts are the ways of acting, thinking, and feeling, which are external to individual and are endowed with the power of coercion by the reason of which they control over him. So you should be writing this definition exactly like this. Just cut, copy, paste. Definition. Characteristics. These are characteristics. So social facts, direct question can be asked. Short note can be asked. Rules to study social facts. What are they? Rules of explanation, rules of distinction, rules of observation, and one more rule is there. Classification. Observation, classification, distinction, explanation. Right? And this is very important rule, observation. Why? Because how you observe social fact, you have to consider it as thing. That itself is asked as a separate 10 marker. Social facts need to be considered as things, discuss, comment, critically analyze. All these can be used. If it is critically analyzed, you need to tell that how is it going to be treated as things. Which thinker you will use, guys? Which thinker you will use? The first one which comes to your mind. No one. Weber, right? That pebbles in the beach criticism. Social facts do not exist as things like pebbles in the beach which you can go and pick directly, right? So, but how will you write that? You will be writing like Emile Durkheim argued for considering social facts as things, shows his concern for objectivity. As a positivist, those things you will write. Father of modern sociology, wanted to make it similar to natural science, followed positivist approach, wanted to make it scientific. So he wanted to ensure objectivity. So he proposed that social facts need to be considered as things. That shows his concern for objectivity and all those things you need to write. But he made it very clear that it is very difficult, but not impossible. How you're going to do it? In terms of objective manifestations of social facts. That words need to be very clear. Collective representation, right? That means any social fact exists means there will be objective manifestation of that. Correct? What is the objective manifestation of religion? Guys, objective manifestation means how it can be seen in society, how it can be visualized in society. The presence of that, how is it visualized in society? That's what objective manifest. Objectively, how can you visualize? Tell me, what is the objective manifestation of religion? Quickly. At least those who attended the temple, right? The church, mosque, all these are objective manifestation. Idols, marriage, you see sindoor, right? This tali and all, what you say, I don't know, right? That all are objective manifestation. What is the other word for that? New petal chain, okay. What is the other name for that? I mean, objective manifestation, the word inverted comma you need to write. Yeah, it is in the form of symbols. In the form of symbols, objective manifestation, use the word collective representation. Okay. So whenever you get a question on social facts, definition is must, characteristics is must, rules to study social factors must, talk about social facts need to be considered as things. That is again very important. Talk about collective representation. Everything is given here. This is what the word that I have again encircled it. Collective representation. What is that? It is nothing but objective manifestations of social facts. Okay. Guys, I'm going fast because you guys already done with the thinkers and I've told you to revise also, and then you are here. So what we will be doing, we will not be teaching, right? We will be just refreshing all these. Okay. Last time Shweta was saying I'm going super fast. Now it's okay for you. Okay, guys, don't you think that this is exactly what I've told you just before? Durkheim's conception of social facts was essentially an endeavor by him to create a separate niche in and scientific status for sociology. So especially if I add here his idea of considering social facts as things, then that shows his complete concern for objectivity and making it similar to scientific status, scientific discipline, right? Will you be able to write or not? You should be, right? No problem in that. Main characteristics, everything we have written, everything we have discussed also. Okay. How to study social facts. Rules are very clear. Okay. So that's about social fact. Now let's go back to Marx. Okay. We will be discussing mostly Marx and Durkheim today. Marx. Alienation. These are some questions which can be expected. A lot of statements can be connected with alienation, right? You guys need to go through all these statements. Now, I have given a write-up here. In that, I have incorporated all these statements. So you will come to know how I will be using this particular statement in the answer. Okay, so go through that. What is alienation? Alienation literally means separation from, isolation, meaninglessness, and all those things. But what is alienation here? Mainly, we are talking about creativity. If you're not able to express something as your creativity, you're alienated. And it is maximum in capitalism. Why? because of the specific mode of production. The way you produce things are such a way that you cannot express creativity. You just control the machine. You are not designing, you are not deciding, you are not doing anything related to the product, right? It has been fixed by the capitalist that this is what we want to make, and this is a machine for that. You just control that. We'll get the output, we'll sell it in the market. You don't have any control over the product in terms of its quality, quantity, design, anything. So you are alienated from the product. Since you are not producing, you are alienated from the process also, right? You are alienated from the fellow workers, and finally you are alienated from the self. These 4 levels, whatever question they ask, whether it is statement or direct question, must be there in your answer. These 4, alienation from the, okay? Otherwise, course and everything I have given. Within mode of production, how is it increasing? How was it in ancient? How was it in feudal? How was it in capitalism? Why in capitalism it is at the peak? Alienation is less in primitive, increase in ancient, further in feudal, reaches at its peak in capitalism, reduce in socialism before ends in communism. Okay, so you will be in a position, you should be in a position to write all those. But guys, it all depends on, if it is 250 mark, these kind of questions, if you get, you need to be very happy because you have enough content, and you you are unlucky if you are getting it as 10 marker because you have so much of content and you know everything, and then writing in 10 mark is also very difficult, these questions. So you need to practice for both 150 word and 250 word. But even then, when I say 150 word, make sure that you are conveying everything in 130 to 135 word. Don't stretch yourself up to 150 word. Make it as a practice. Whenever you are writing the answers, also make it as a practice, right? Whether you write mains this year or next year, make it as a practice, because what you practice is what will come in the actual paper. That time you will not be able to count or anything, right? As soon as you see this question, I'll write this much, and it is programmed and printed in your mind. That's exactly what is required. Okay, so I know what is this content and how much it will take to 135 to 140 words for me. If you have the clarity, no problem. And guys, if you have the knowledge, then don't worry about 130 or 140 or 250. You can write, you can reduce the content, you can add the content. It all depends on what you know. Like alienation, I can tell you in 25 words also, if you want. I can keep on discussing for 1,000 words as well. What I'm saying is that clarity, if you have, no problem. It all individual strategy, whether you need to go with mind map or whatever it is, it all depends on your strategy. But 1 or 2 criticisms should be there at the end of the answer. That also should be there in your mind. Okay, 1 or 2 criticism should be there. Bloomer is one which you can use. Okay, I've given. Guys, this statement, this is a very important statement. Capitalism, the relationship between the subject and object is inversed. The object becomes the subject master. So they will ask you commodity fetishism. It is the same only. Commodity fetishism, see, this theory is there in the chapter titled Fetishism of Commodities in the book Das Kapital. What is that fetishism of commodity? Somebody was asking me in the class last day also. Commodity fetishism means you start maintaining a distance with the product that you have created. You are the creator. You start maintaining a distance with the product that you have created. Why? Because over a period of time, you have realized that your existence is because of that product. You are getting wage. You don't have any control over that. You cannot express your creativity. You don't have belongingness. You don't have control or anything. Okay, so you start thinking that you are there because of that product. If that product is no more there, then you cannot survive because you only know to do work on that, right? Like I start believing that without sociology, I may not be able to survive. Then I will consider sociology as superior. If I only have that skill. So some workers, right, you can see some workers, they have only one skill. If they have more skill, they don't want to be a worker. So imagine a person who's having more than one skill, right? Then you don't want to be a worker, right? So that person will start believing that his existence is because of that. He considered that as superior. That's what you mean by considering that product as fetishes. product as fictitious. That is commodity as fictitious. That is what fetishism of commodities or commodity fetishism. Okay, and the commodity or the product that he created becomes superior to him. So actually, who's superior? The subject or the object, or the creator or the product? Creator, right? So that is what written here. It inverts the relation. The object become the master of subject, or the product become the master of creator. Correct? So these are very beautiful statements. They can ask you, it is not the consciousness of man that determine their existence. On the contrary, it is their social existence that determine their consciousness. It can be related to alienation, that you can see directly, alienation from self, or it can also be related to, you can answer by using economic infrastructure, superstructure. Consciousness falls where? Infrastructure or superstructure? Where? Guys, quickly. Superstructure. So what does this mean? You need to tell that what Marx says, it is not the consciousness that determine your existence. Why? Because it is not the superstructure that determine your existence. Consciousness is part of superstructure. But on the contrary, it is your existence. That means where you stand in the production process. That is the economic infrastructure. That decides your consciousness. Why? Consciousness is part of superstructure. You remember, infrastructure shapes the superstructure, which in turn help in the function. That's what you need to write here. Yes, Vishal, say. These are beautiful statements. They can ask you. Okay. Okay. This one. Now, I know everyone know alienation, but guys, towards the end, you also need to write de-alienation. Even if you don't want to write the statement which I've given, what you need to do is just tell that merely giving the theory of alienation is the objective of Marx. Marx also visualized a society which is free from alienation in terms of communist society. That's enough, where the being will come into existence rather than social being. And then this statement, it is possible for me to do one thing that is not necessary. If it is 250 mark, you can write that. Also, one more thing, guys, just note it down now itself. Question of alienation is asked. You should write this one. It is not only the worker who's alienated. This should be there in your answer. Just note it down somewhere. It has to be there. Okay? It is not only the worker who's alienated, the capitalist is also alienated, because his ideas are also not his ideas. It is because of the system he is doing all these. So it is a structure of society which is responsible for all these. Okay, that is very, very important point that has to be there in your answer. Now itself, you mark somewhere, and if you're writing this answer, it should be there in your answer. Okay, just one line is enough, but when you're writing that line, just underline. So when the examiners see that you are writing that not only from the worker's side, you're also writing from capitalist side. Even the capitalist is also alienated in terms of his ideas, in terms of his consciousness. Because if he need to make profit, you have to exploit the worker. It is not the capitalist who's exploiting. It is a system which is exploiting. It is a system which is telling the capitalist to do this. Otherwise, the capitalist will be tomorrow proletariat. Okay, he cannot survive. Criticism, guys, Karl Popper, this is one of the most important criticism which you can write, because it is very simple. Just opposite you take. He says alienation will lead to innovate. When you feel that you're alienated, you will create more. That is exactly opposite and very simple. That's why I told you to remember Karl Popper. No need to go with too much of details. Others, up to you. One or two you can take. This Robert Bloomer also you can take. Okay, these two are easy to remember. This is what Max Weber is also talking about. Can you tell me, just before I've told you one concept? That's what this one. Anyone, can you quickly tell me? In the beginning, we discussed one concept when we discussed about bureaucracy. That's what all about this sentence. Just one line. Iron cage of rationality. Okay. Happy that you remember something at least, even though I'm going so fast. Guys, will you be able to write critical analysis answer of this? Simple, you know the theory, then go for criticism. Write an introduction, 1 or 2 lines, write the theory of alienation, then 1 or 2 line of contribution, then general criticism. You know what to write: general criticism, economic determinist you can write, reductionist you can write, importance to economic infrastructure you can write, conflict use Durkheim, macro use Weber, then Karl Popper, Robert Blumer, Max Weber. What more, guys? Hardly you need 3-4 criticisms to write a critical analysis answer. CCR, just follow CCR, yes. Okay. So I'm not going with the critical analysis now. Everything is given to you. So it's your, duty now to go with that. All these are Melvin Seaman, Robert Blomer, Harry Braverman. All these are given in the top also. But here I have, you can see here how it can be incorporated in the answer. Okay. Okay, guys. Any doubts so far? Which page number is this one? Any doubts so far? I can take up some questions and then we will wind up for today. Then we'll continue tomorrow from here. Three or four sessions I'll take, guys, so that it will be, I want thinkers, you need to be very strong in thinkers, because once you are good in that, then see, when you see these questions, will you be facing any difficulty in any one of this? I'm not just giving the syllabus or anything. These are questions which has been asked, and these are the possible questions which can be asked by any examiner. Okay, whenever I used to take quantitative aptitude, I always tell these are the questions which can be asked by anyone in any exam, because that's where you learn a concept very simple. Very difficult to tell that in sociology since it is subjective, but still you can do that in case of thinkers. Beyond this, it is very difficult to go. Protestant ethic I'll do tomorrow. This I'll do tomorrow. From here I'll do tomorrow. Parson is coming, Merton is coming. You can turn on the mic, guys, in case if you want to ask. Demo answer. You do one thing, Abhishek. You learn for 250 words and just write it in paper. It will automatically become 150 words. Okay.
Sir, are we having a class on Saturday?
Which one?
Are we having a class on Saturday?
We will have session on Saturdays. Tomorrow also I'll take, and Saturday also I'll take. Because yesterday I was planning, but I couldn't do that. And I'll take on Saturday.
All right. So you will be wrapping the first paper by next week, right?
4th?
Sorry, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Tell me.
All right. So you'll be wrapping the first paper by next week, right? Is that what you said?
We will see. That is how we planned, and we will see. I'm planning for 10-11 sessions for paper 1. We'll see.
All right, sir. So will we be? Will you be concluding both the papers by the end of this month?
End of this month, it will be slightly difficult. It may go till August mid.
August. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Because I have one more batch, and I was not expecting that, and I got stuck in that batch.
Like
Guys, your answer papers, I'll give that because I got some confusion with some of the papers. Okay, some of you are, that's why I'm not opening the message. If I open your messages, then I'll miss that also. So don't worry about that. I've seen that. I'll do that. Okay. We will stop here. Any other doubts? Yeah, tell me.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
What is your name? You don't have a name.
Rashtragar Reddy.
Okay, tell me, Rashtragar.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, and for 250 words question, in how many minutes we have to complete it?
157 is 150 words, so ideally you should be taking 11 to 12 minutes.
Okay, for long answer.
Long answer. 12-13 minutes you can. It's all about you need to compromise on the other, right? That we can't fix it. We know some questions I can do really good that you can finish in really fast, because when that thinking time can be saved, then that you need to manage with maybe some questions you will be able to solve in 4 minutes as well. So I've seen many people who are fixing the time like 11, 12 minutes, but I don't want you to leave a question after 11 minutes, nothing like that. Take it, and if you are very well aware of another question where you can save time in thinking, then adjust accordingly, right? That is how it has to be done. It is not that you need to take strictly 7 minutes and like that.
Sir, another question. Did we have to refer any book for paper 2?
No need. Like this, I'll give you paper 2 also. But again, paper 2, I can't tell you like this. What I'm saying
It is
here in
subjective.
paper 1, it is. I can't tell this, but this is. I'm very confident, and in fact, I don't want any one of you to refer anything else beyond in paper 1. If you can stick to it, it is fine. But paper 2, even I'm also not that confident, so I won't tell that. Okay, so like whatever is possible.
At least we have to score 150.
150, 160, you can easily get in paper 1.
2, a paper 2, I must.
Nobody can tell anything because I'm not a expert in paper 2. Though I know and I can teach and I write, but I'm not an expert. I don't consider myself as an expert. But this is my.
Already you faced 2 exams.
So, so I was just wondering, can we use the word pragmatist for Marx? Because he is giving de-alienation as a solution. I don't know if I'm thinking in the right way or not, but can we use this word for him?
No, can we use which word? De-alienation.
No, pragmatist, related to the shape.
No need.
Okay.
Actually, Marx is a pragmatist only, right? He is giving solution for everything. Who's giving solutions for all these problems? They are actually called as pragmatists, right?
Yes, sir.
So Marx is giving solution, but it's a radical solution. That's the only problem. Okay.
Okay.
You'll get 3 pages and 2 pages, and they keep on changing. Sometimes 2.5 page, 1.5 page. So we need a 250, 150 words max. Beyond that, you should not go. Like 1.5 page, 2.5 page. Just fix that. And expecting that 100 words is what you write in 1 page. So 1.5 page and 2.5 page.
Is it advisable to bring paper 2 thinkers in paper 1, especially in areas like research methods?
No need. Research methods, you can use 1 or 2, like participant observation. You can use, you can use MN Srinivas. Yeah. But even why? Which method? If you're talking about participant observation and all, we have Redcliffe-Brown, we have Evans Pritchard, we have Malinowski. Why you need to bring MN Srinivas there then? MN Srinivas is a student of these guys, right? Why we want to use him? No need.
Just to bring in some more relevance.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, Shiva here. Able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So yeah, for thinkers, can we write answers in 2 slots or 3 slots? So I thought to cover all the areas for thinkers. So at least if it is a 2 slot, yeah, it should be fine. So just thought to check with you.
Shiva, what I'll do is I'll give you write 10 questions, okay, instead of 7.
Oh, that's
beyond
fine,
that, it is very, very difficult for me to cover.
So, no, yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, 10 questions is fine. Yeah,
10
thank you.
Is fine, right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because it is going to be very difficult for me otherwise.
Yeah, correct. Thank you, sir. Thank you anyway.
Okay, guys. We'll stop here. Okay.
So,
see you tomorrow. Tell me.
Yes, I've already emphasized this point, but it'll be helpful if you can consider giving us, not too many options. Like giving too many options, we deliberately tend to choose the questions we are most comfortable with.
Why I'm giving all those questions is because even this I have around 100 questions, because I want you to go for this brainstorming. Each and every question you think about it, right? And while writing, you just need to take few questions and you write and practice. And then later you yourself can practice n number of questions, not a problem. Even if you are later joining the test series, you will get specific set of questions and everything. But why I'm giving, because you go with all these 100 questions, brainstorm it. What are the answers are also given, fewer questions are given. So it will give you all the possible ways in which the question can be answered. And then when you 7:30 there is no class, guys, today, no class. And even when you're you are writing one answer, imagine, and then when later when you sleep or sometimes you will also come across some other points which I could have written in this, right? So that's why this much of questions are given. This is what exactly happening after the exam also. Once the exam is done, then when you come back home, even without referring to anything, you will start thinking, I could have written this, I could have done that, I could have written all these things. That exercise you can do now. That's the only purpose. 100 question if you've done from thinkers means, guys, imagine who can ask beyond that? Nobody can ask.
Sir, you are about to show us a demo where you are going to choose questions and all that, how to write questions and everything.
Which one?
Sir,
I will show you demo. I'll show you, Sairul. I'll show you that. Let us complete the first 10 chapters and then I'll sit with you like I am writing exam. I'll take the question paper and I'll tell you how I'm going to select the question and which all questions I'll attend first, what I'll keep for later, so that you will also get a clarity regarding that. We'll do that. I'll demonstrate it. Let's complete this 10 modules or session. I think in three more sessions after this, I'll do that. Like I can tell you, anyway, compulsory questions we have nothing to do, but I'll be attempting those first. And then you have choice, right? 6 questions out of which you need to select 3. On what criteria? What is my strength? I know my strength. You should be knowing your strength. Mostly my strength and your strength will be same when it comes to paper 2 after some time. So you will get a idea what to choose and why I choose those questions where thinkers are coming. Right? I'll show you that.
Sir, you will do both papers, sir?
Yes, we'll do. Okay, guys, we'll stop here. See you tomorrow. See you guys. Okay. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow.